synthesize them, that shouldn't be your end point. If it was your end point, then we wouldn't be talking about knowledge. There wouldn't be such divergent views. Okay? Look, here's another example for you. Okay? So, we've had this question of philosophy. Nature or nurture? Okay? There's a claim, nature. Okay? Genetic influences, our genetic inheritance, so on and so forth. A monkey can't be a human, blah, 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 blah. What's the counterclaim to that? Nurture. We are who we are because all of these different factors. Okay? Now, the synthesis, actually, I would phrase this differently. Okay? I don't think it's quality versus quantity. I would say that it is definitely a combination of both, right? So I would basically say, however, no, I wouldn't say however, I would say it appears as though the issue cannot be resolved through a black and white dichotomy, okay? Nature versus nurture doesn't exist as two independent phenomena, right? They interact and are interdependent on each other, okay? Now I know that Mr. Popoff here has tried to make this methodological, so he's focusing on terms like quantity versus quantity and quantifiability, okay? So how do we make a judgment, right? When we say how do we quantify, it means how do we measure? What's more important? Okay, because if I was just to say, well, hey, it's nature and nurture, the question is, that doesn't give us the information we need. What's more important? Okay, so how do we quantify, measure the contribution of nature and nurture in human behavior? Yeah. Synthesis is tricky, okay? But this gives you some advice about how you do it, right? It's basically trying to identify what the assumptions are. So think about yourself as the mediator, okay? You're mediating two different claims. You're making what is implicit explicit, and you're labeling it as explicit. Okay? And like this goes on to like, how do you do it? Right? This one's a good one. So here we go. A standardized test useful for predicting job success. So Jack says, psychology has made great progress in using standardized tests in personnel selection. Tests are used to predict the employee's potential success in the workplace. Stephanie says, but how can you rely on that? For any individual person, the prediction is not reliable. It's not for sure that a person will above a test, he or they, will not be a success in the workplace. Jack, well, I'm not saying that it always works, I'm saying that it works sometimes. It's still better than nothing. The test will not necessarily give an accurate prediction of the person's future performance, but a prediction will be better than a chance, right? So Jack then is synthesizing. He's acknowledging Stephanie's claim, okay, and sort of making the point that there is some usefulness. It's like, oh, that sounds weird. A synthesis is a little bit when someone like backs down, right? Okay, that's what you need to be thinking about. Imagine again, circle. You're just having an argument that leads nowhere. In philosophy, sometimes we call it a death of 1,000 qualifications, okay? Where you qualify, 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 which means change what you're saying until the idea is no longer what it used to be, and therefore it's redundant. Okay? So it dies a death that we use it when we talk about God. God exists, and how can God exist? Because I see evidence of God. Well, how can you see evidence of God? Well, God is invisible. Well, how can you know God if God's invisible? Well, I can feel His presence. Well, how do you know you can feel His presence if you can't feel God through His senses? Okay? Well, I have faith. Well, but how can you have faith? What does faith mean? Okay? Well, I read the scriptures. Okay? And, do you know what I mean? You go, like, you get at the end, like, okay? humans different from monkeys? Jump, humans are not that different from monkeys. Okay? They share more than 90, don't we share like 98% of the same genetic material as a banana or something as well? Yeah. There you go. Think about that next time you're eating a banana. It's weird. Okay? So they share more than 99% of their genotype with some primate species. Definitely. But listen, humans obviously are different. I guess this 1% matters a lot. Now, jump assumes that we are talking about quantitative differences. Okay? Whereas Stephanie is talking about qualitative differences. You're identifying the assumption in the argument. If you want to practice this, right, here is a link, and the thing is, to be fair, I'm going to be doing this with you again in May 13, so let maybe just practice one example. But I feel like you're not going to be able to move on in your preparation of this essay without learning how to synthesize. Okay, so just, we've got some time here, okay? If you make a copy of this in workbook, okay, and in pairs now, why don't we create a group here? So, Aaron, can you come over and you can work with Anvesha, Chloe, and Marco, right, as a group here. Maybe, do you all want to work as pairs or in the group or what? Pairs, yeah. Okay, so pair. Yeah, okay. So make a copy. Why don't you just practice it? As opposed to me just, keeping on speaking to you about it. So does everyone know where to get that information from? We go into the classroom. We're clicking on the presentation. That's the spiral structure. Okay, and we're going to slide 14. In slide 14, you click on the workbook.